Bismillahirrahmanirrahiim.
Alhamdulillahi khaliqil wujudi min al-'adam wa ja'ilil nuri min al-dhulam wa mukhrijis sabri min al-alam wa mulqit tawbati 'ala al-nadam fanashkuruhu 'ala al-masa'ib kama nashkuruhu 'ala al-ni'am wa nusalli 'ala rasulihil akram بالشرف الأشم والنور الأتم والكتاب المحكم وكمال النبيين والخاتم سيد ولد آدم الذي بشر به عيسى بن مريم ودعا لبعثته إبراهيم عليه السلام حين كان يرفع قواعد بيت الله المحرم فصلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى أتباعه خير الأمم الذي بارك الله بهم كافة الناس العرب منهم والعجم فالحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا والحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا والحمد لله الذي نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن محمدا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله الله تعالى بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا فصلى الله عليه وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا ثم أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإن شر الأمور محدثاتها وإن كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار يقول سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم بعد أن نقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قال ربي إني دعوت قومي ليلا ونهارا فلم يزدهم دعائي إلا فرارا وإني كلما دعوتهم لتغفر لهم جعلوا أصابعهم في آذانهم واستغشوا ثيابهم وأصروا واستكبروا استكبارا ثم إني دعوتهم جهارا ثم إني أعلنت لهم وأسررت لهم إصرارا فقلت استغفروا ربكم إنه كان غفارا يرسل السماء عليكم مدرارا ويمددكم بأموال وبنين ويجعل لكم جنات ويجعل لكم أنهارا رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي اللهم ثبتنا عند الموت بلا إله إلا الله واللهم اجعلنا من الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر آمين يا رب العالمين. In today's khutbah, inshallah, my effort will be to focus primarily on 2 ayat of Surat Nuh, just 2 of them. But in order to really appreciate some lessons from these 2 ayat, we have to go a little bit further back. Many of you are familiar that the entire Surat Nuh is actually a conversation, most of it spread between Allah Azza wa Jalla and Nuh alayhi salam. And in between there are the accounts of what happened in the career of Nuh alayhi salam. Surat Nuh is also the last time in the Quran that Nuh alayhi salam is talked about. Every surah after Nuh, Surat Nuh, surah number 71, there's no more mention of him. So this is the final chapter in the Quran on the legacy of this great messenger alayhi salatu wassalam. We learned some things about him in this surah that we don't know in any other surah. The surah has a unique position in describing the legacy and the account of Nuh alayhi salam. And one of the things that makes this surah unique is that it collects all of the career of Nuh alayhi salam, and by the end of it, when Allah Azza wa Jalla had already told him that these people, they have no hope left. They're not going to believe in you anymore. He was holding himself back from saying things about them. All this time, they made him angry and they had plenty of reasons to be angry with them. But he never said anything. He never complained about them. Because he knows that when a messenger complains, it's over. When a messenger complains, that nation will be destroyed. So he kept his mouth shut. Until Allah Azza wa Jalla gave him his own verdict. That these people, la yu'minun, they're not going to believe. Then after that, he started opening what was inside his chest all along. And so he turns to Allah and he says, Rabbi inni da'awtu qawmi laylan wa naharan. I have invited my nation night and day. Night and day I went after these people. And he didn't say kuntu ad'u qawmi, he says da'awtu qawmi. Which actually means He didn't say, I used to invite my nation. He said, I invited my nation. And the difference between the two in Arabic is that one is considered one act. Like if you say to somebody, I used to go to that masjid, that means you went multiple times. So you went and you came back and you went again and you came back and you went again. But if you say to someone, I went to that masjid, it means you went one time. So the language he uses is actually one that says, I made da'wah to them as though it's one act. In other words, it never stopped. It was just constant for him. It wasn't that he made da'wah, then he stopped, and he made da'wah, then he stopped, he invited them and he stopped. No, he kept at it. And he said night and day. He didn't even say day and night. You expect him to invite people during the day and take some rest at night. He started by mentioning the night, alayhi salam. Why? Because even at night, when you would think he would take some rest, he would find some young people that are awake hanging out at night. He would find some people that work during the day and the only time they have to talk is during the night. And he'd go and try to find them and maybe I can get some conversation with them. Maybe I can get some time with them. In the day they tell me, old man, I don't have time for you, leave me alone. Go away from here. And they would shoo him away. They would push him away. And he would keep coming back to them. He would keep coming back to them. فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا. He called them so much, he says, the only thing that increased, my calls to them, my constant calls to them, did not change anything. But the only thing that got more was that they would run away from me more. So a time comes where he doesn't even get a chance to talk to them. Can you imagine the frustration of this man? His only mission, alayhi salam, is to talk to the people. He just wants to talk to them. That's all he wants to do, invite them to Allah. And they don't even give him a chance. They see him coming and they run away. فَلَمْ يَزِدْهُمْ دُعَائِي إِلَّا فِرَارًا وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ. And every single time I tried to call them, every single time I invited them, every single time I tried to remind them of something, give them advice, give them counsel, لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ. So you could forgive them. In other words, why was he calling them? He didn't want power for himself. He didn't ask them for money. There's nothing in it for him. If they insulted him the first time, the second time, the third time, the 100th time, why would he want to go back and get insulted more? He only did all of this because he loves his people and he wants you, Allah, to forgive them. So you, Allah, you could forgive them. That's why I was calling them. جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. They would stick their fingers in their ears. Actually, the word, you don't stick your finger in your ear, you stick your fingertip in your ear. The expression in Arabic is al-anamil. جَعَلُوا الْأَنَامِلَ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. وَلَكِنَّهُ قَالَ أَصَابِعْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ. Ibn Ashur comments, he says about this ayah that he described, it's like they stuck their whole finger in their ear, meaning they tried to stick their fingers in their ears as far as they could. Because they don't want anything to do with this message. Nothing at all. So those who could run away would run away. Those who got stuck, maybe they're with him in some journey or they're with him at the marketplace and he's next to them, they can't run away, they would insult him by sticking their fingers in their ears. وَاسْتَغْشَوْا ثِيَابَهُمْ. And they would wrap their clothes up. They will pull their clothes, and this is said in Arabic, لِكَيْ لَا يَسْمَعْ وَلَا يَرَى. So the person doesn't hear and he doesn't listen. So sticking the fingers in their ears, so you don't want to hear him. But they're so disgusted at looking at him, they walk away from him. They wrap their clothes, I don't even want to look at you. Other people would see him coming and they would cover themselves, I hope he doesn't recognize me. Because if he recognizes me, he'll start talking to me. SubhanAllah. This is how they treated him. But he never said anything. Until now. Until now Allah said, this nation is done. You start building the ship. You start building the ark. Then he opened his mouth to Allah and he's not going to complain to the people. The only one he can talk to is Allah Azza wa Jalla. So he tells them night and day. And they only ran away. وَإِنِّي كُلَّمَا دَعَوْتُهُمْ لِتَغْفِرَ لَهُمْ جَعَلُوا أَصَابِعَهُمْ فِي آذَانِهِمْ وَاسْتَغْشَوْا ثِيَابَهُمْ وَأَصَرُّوا. And they were so cold towards me. أَصَرْ يَأْتِي مِنْ سِرْ. سِرْ شِدَّةُ الْبَرْضِ. Extreme cold is called sir. Asaru, they were cold towards me. They had no emotion towards me. They didn't even give me the respect of being an elder. At least if you don't accept my religion, accept my call, at least respect me because I'm an older from you. I'm a family member. I'm a father. I'm a grandfather. Nothing. No respect. They were so cold towards me. Asaru also means they were committed. Like they wouldn't let it go. Literally, Israr is used in Arabic in literature and in expressions for donkeys that you can't domesticate. Some animals you have to domesticate them so you can use them. So somebody catches a wild donkey and no matter what they do, it doesn't go straight. It doesn't go normal. Then they say, Asarra ala al-ana. They say, this donkey's going crazy. I can't grab his ears. Every time I go close, he either kicks me or bites me. So this is how they're described. These people. They're literally like wild mules. They just won't listen. They won't, even if they do get to listen, they act wild in front of me. And they're insistent upon their sins. They don't want to let them go. وَاسْتَكْبَرُوا اسْتِكْبَارًا. And they showed me the worst kind of arrogance. They said the meanest things to me. They were so insulting towards me. This is above and beyond, sticking the fingers in the ears is arrogant. Pulling your clothes off and walking away is arrogant. Being cold towards him and mean towards him is arrogant. And then he says on top of all of this, they were arrogant in ways I can't even describe. I'll just say that they were really, really outrageous with me. وَاسْتَكْبَرُوا اسْتِكْبَارًا. And when someone is so outrageous with you, you might say, maybe I shouldn't talk to that guy again. It's not worth it. Last time he blew up on me. I don't know if I can deal with that again. The very next ayah says, ثُمَّ إِنِّي دَعُوتُهُمْ جِهَارًا. Then I went after them and I called them openly, loudly. Now the question is, when he tries to go towards them, they run away, don't they? They don't come to him, they run away. How is he going to get all of them together publicly? Jihad implies you're calling a large group. Al-Jama'ah al-Kathira min al-Nas. Adhara is used when there's a few people. Jihad is used, Jahara is used, or Jahara also is used, but there's a large group of people. So he would wait for their festivals. He would wait for their New Year celebration. He would wait for when the head of the tribe or the governor of our time, right? He's going to address the entire population. And he would interrupt that population at that time and say, people, please listen to me. Just please listen. I have something important to tell you. The ship is almost built. When it's done, you will be killed. You need to listen to me. He would just find these desperate times. Now you can imagine if in private settings they didn't want to hear him. And he's going and ruining their party. Ibn Abbas even tells us, radiallahu ta'ala anhuma, that in some occasions they used to yell at him and the young people used to go beat him up. They used to go beat him up. I'm beating up a messenger of Allah. Until he would pass out. And then he would wake up and he'd start calling them again. SubhanAllah. The courage of this man. So he would go and he'd invite them. ثُمَّ إِنِّي دَعُوتُهُمْ جِهَارًا. Jiharan also means one more thing. They're not giving me a chance to talk to them. Jiharan يعني يريد الجهر منهم. He wants them to speak out. He said, okay, I went to them after them to the point where they would get angry at me and yell at me, but at least now they're talking to me, because they won't even talk to me. They won't even listen. So I got even in their face to the point where they would start yelling at me. At least they're engaging me at some level. At least there's some interaction, because they've completely boycotted me. This is So now he makes this public address. Of course, some people, there are people who listen and they don't want to hear it. But there's also some people who listen but they don't pay attention. There's people like that. There's people sitting in a khutbah playing with their phone. It happens. They're not paying attention. When it's the only thing they hear is aqim as-salat. That's all they hear. It happens, right? But one day, out of nowhere, they actually heard you. And it's like, this is the first time they heard you. So some people might have come to him and said, sir, I never paid attention to you before, but I heard you today. I'm shocked at what you're saying. I want to know more. So he got a little smaller group, maybe they want to come and listen. After he made a big scene. ثُمَّ إِنِّي أَعْلَمْتُ لَهُمْ. Then I gave them some counsel. I spoke, i'lan is less than jiharan. Right? So I spoke to them, I pronounced my declarations to them. I let them know what the message is. وَأَسْرَرْتُ لَهُمْ إِسْرَارًا. And I went to them in secret. And I kept their secrets with them. What does that mean? That means they've been calling him old, crazy for a long time. The whole village. Everybody calls him old. Everybody calls him crazy. قَالُوا مَجْنُونٌ وَازْدُجِرٌ. They said he's insane. And he would get yelled at everywhere he went. Go away from here, go away from here. وَازْدُجِرٌ. Constantly he would get yelled at by people. SubhanAllah. So even if somebody gets close to Islam, they're like, well, if I become Muslim, they're going to call me crazy too. They're going to call my family crazy too. I can't deal with all that pressure. So Nuh alayhi salam would secretly go to their house at nighttime. Some families would look like maybe he saw one person shed a tear. So he goes and talks to him. He says, I can't talk to you in public. Okay, I'll come to your place at nighttime. Nobody will see me coming. So he goes to their house. And he goes and he sits and he talks to them. And he gives the whole family a khutbah. He gives them a counsel. Can you imagine private session with a messenger? So you can get some iman in you. Happening in the middle of the night with this family, with these few people. وَأَسْرَرْتُ لَهُمْ إِسْرَارًا. And he told them, look, if you accept Islam, he doesn't say sirran. He said israran. There's a difference of lazim and muta'addi. What that means is I'll keep your secret. If you become Muslim, don't worry, you don't have to tell anyone. I won't tell anyone either. Your secret's safe with me. Just be good with Allah at least. I can deal with the yelling of the people. I can deal with the cursing of the people. I can deal with them making fun of me. I know you can't deal with it, but at least privately become Muslim. At least you fix your relationship with Allah. Look at the concern of this man, subhanAllah.
So now fa, this harf al-ataf, that special fa that's used in the next ayah, describes what was that khutbah, what was that speech that he gave them when he was in their homes, when he was talking to them privately to soften their hearts. These are the two of those ayat I want to share with you. This was all just the introduction of what I wanted to share with you. He says to them, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ. So I said, istaghfiru rabbakum. Make istighfar, ask forgiveness of your master. Let's explore this word istighfar a little bit. Istighfar comes from maghfirah. Maghfirah in Arabic is commonly translated as forgiveness. It actually, originally, ghafara is in the meaning of satara, or ghatta, which means to cover something. To cover something. Mighfar is the helmet. You know, old soldiers used to wear a helmet, and you can't tell one soldier from the other. When they take their helmet out, now you know who this guy is, right? So that was called a mighfar, the covering of the head. We ask Allah for maghfirah, you know what? That means we ask Allah to cover our sins. We ask Allah to cover our sins. Our sins are ugly, they're humiliating, they smell bad. On Judgment Day, we don't want to see them, and we don't want anybody else to see them. So when we ask Allah for maghfirah, we're asking He puts something over them. So you see something is there, but you don't know what it is. It's covered up. It's a pile, you don't know what it's a pile of. You know, that's maghfirah. Now istighfar, this istif'al pattern does three things, and I'd like you to try to remember that. The word istighfar is three things. You have to remember all three of these things. The alif, sin and ta in the word, what it does is, one, you're asking for something. So that's an easy translation, ask for forgiveness, right? Ask for your sins to be covered. That's one. The second one is wanting something. Wanting something. Like if you say istat'ama in Arabic, it doesn't just mean to ask for food. It also means you're hungry, you want food. So now there are two meanings. You need to ask for forgiveness and you need to want forgiveness. There's a difference between these two things. And I told you there are three meanings. I'll get to the third one in a second. But I want you to understand the difference between these first two. Asking for forgiveness and wanting forgiveness. Both of them are combined. Sometimes somebody asks for forgiveness, but from their attitude, from their attention, from their consciousness, clearly they don't want it. Clearly they don't want forgiveness. They're just asking for it. You know? Sometimes you tell your children, hey, say sorry to your brother. Say sorry to your mother. Say sorry to your teacher. And he says, sorry. Well, he said it. But I don't think if he wanted an apology. He just said it because you made him say it. Somebody's sitting there and saying, astaghfirullah, 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 with a big smile on their face. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. You're saying it, but do you realize what you're saying? You're asking Allah to forgive. You're apologizing to Allah for something terrible that you have done. So you and I cannot do istighfar until we're conscious of some bad thing we did. When you and I sit and say astaghfirullah, you got to think of something bad first that you did. Then say astaghfirullah. Then think of the next bad thing. And then say astaghfirullah. And believe me, you have a long list and I have a long list. So you're not going to run out. But in case you run out, then you say to yourself, Ya Rab, I ask you, I am sorry because I forgot. Because I know I did more things. I did more things. You have to want it. Now asking is a matter of the tongue, but wanting is a matter of the heart. Istighfar combines both of them. It combines the tongue and the heart. So now there are two meanings out of three. One meaning is ask for forgiveness, the other is want forgiveness. The third is trying for something. Istat'ama, istasqa is also not just asking for water, wanting water, is looking for water, seeking water, trying to find water. So he's not just asking you to ask for forgiveness on your tongue, ask for it in your heart, try to get forgiven. Try to be forgiven. There's an effort involved in the word istighfar. So when someone says they're doing istighfar, three things are involved. Their tongue is involved, their heart is involved, and their actions, their person, the way they spend their time, the way they treat other people. That's involved too. That is part of istighfar. You're seeking forgiveness from Allah Azza wa Jalla, and I'm seeking forgiveness from Allah. There are a lot of things we've done that Allah deserves better. And there are a lot of things we've done that people deserve better. We didn't speak to the husband the way we should have, the wife the way we should have, the mother or the father the way we should have. We didn't speak to an employee the way we should have. There was a brother from the community, you talked to him at a meeting, you shouldn't have talked to him that way. You dealt with someone the wrong way. You made a late payment to an employee. We do the things to each other. Part of seeking Allah's forgiveness is going out and fixing those wrongs. That's istaghfiru. But why should you feel an urgency to want to ask for forgiveness? He says, subhanAllah, the words are so powerful. He says, istaghfiru rabbakum. We say astaghfirullah, yeah? He doesn't say astaghfirullah. He says istaghfiru rabbakum, your master. The one who has the ultimate authority over you. Look, your boss has an authority over you. For a limited time, when we're making salat, the imam has authority over you. He goes into ruku', you go into ruku'. Yeah? Limited authority. Parents have authority over children. Until a time, then they become adults, they do their own thing. Governments have authorities over people, but nobody has more authority over someone than a master and a slave. The master has ultimate authority. So you should be asking Allah to apologize because He's your master and you haven't exactly acted like a slave. You've been acting like you're free. You've been acting like you don't owe Him anything. You realize that that's why the word Rabb is being used. You owe something to your master. He owns you. He has authority over you. And He's let you go. He doesn't punish you for the things you've done. You need to at least feel bad. At least feel bad and try to change yourself. At least do that much. And then He adds, you should do this to Rabb, but Rabb doesn't mean that He's going to forgive. Just because you ask for something doesn't mean you're going to get it. Just because you really want something doesn't mean you can have it. Just because you try to get something doesn't mean you'll acquire it. It's not a guarantee. He says, إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. No doubt about it. He has always been repeatedly forgiving. In other words, even when you didn't ask for forgiveness, there are so many things He forgave you for. There are so many things He didn't punish you for. There are so many things that you deserve to be punished. And Allah let you go, and He let you go, and He let you go. And He's been doing it all along. He's been doing it all along. You know, Allah Azza wa Jal tells us in another place in the Quran that if Allah took people, لَوْ يُؤَاخِذُ اللَّهُ, if Allah was to take people because of the sins they do, you know, مَا تَرَكَ عَلَيْهَا مِن دَابَّةٍ, there would be nothing left of any creature in the world if Allah started punishing creatures for what they do. You know what that means? Even when we don't ask for forgiveness, there are so many things that Allah is already forgiving. He's always been that way. You know, whether you ask His forgiveness or not. But above and beyond that, that forgiveness will run out until your death comes. Then He will punish. So you want to be truly forgiven, you better start asking. And then somebody says, even turns to Nuh alayhi salam. We think of Nuh alayhi salam's story, we think he was with the people 950 years. He was trying to invite them to Islam. But we don't think about the people themselves. You know what that means? People have been doing bad things for a very, very long time. And when you tell somebody who's been doing bad things for a very long time, you need to change your ways, he says, man, I've done a lot. I don't know if Allah is going to forgive me now. Maybe I should have apologized like 20 years ago. But right now, I've done way too much. He says, إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا. He has always been and always will be repeatedly accepting your forgiveness. He will do it over and over and over again. The word ghaffar, fa'al in Arabic, comes from this pattern where something is done repeatedly. So you have, for example, khabbaz is a baker. Why? Because he makes bread over and over and over again. Ghaffar means Allah He's not just forgiving. He actually goes and forgives you over and over and over again. And to every one of us, Allah is ghaffar. Every one of us, Allah is ghaffar. Every one of us, even when we do good things, there are things missing in them. Even when we make salat, there are mistakes in them. Even when we make wudu, there are mistakes in it. Even when we recite Quran, our mind is somewhere else. He forgives, He forgives, He forgives. Over and over again. إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. This ayah, subhanAllah, if I can just cover this ayah with you in a little bit, my job is done. This one ayah. He says, subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nuh alayhi salam is trying to get into the hearts of these people. He's talking to them secretly. He's saying, look, just ask Allah for forgiveness. I won't even tell anyone. You just make it good with God. Just get right with Allah. Just get right with Allah. And He's ready to forgive you. He's always been waiting for you. You're the one that didn't give Him time. He's always been there. His invitation never closed. His invitation never closed. But then He says, يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. He will send, literally it says, He will send the sky pouring upon you. He will send the sky pouring upon you. You won't ask for rain. You didn't ask for rain. But if you ask Allah for forgiveness, He is so happy with you. He'll make it rain. Just for you. Subhanallah. You know, Umar radiallahu anhu, there was a time during his rule that there was a drought. There's no water. Plants are dying. People can't find water to drink enough. And he went up to give a khutbah. And the only ayat he recited was فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ إِنَّهُ كَانَ غَفَّارًا يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. And he came down and he was asked, why did you recite these ayat? He goes, these are the ayat that open the doors to heaven. They open the doors to heaven. You and I just ask Allah for forgiveness. He says He will send the sky. Send the sky. Now one figure of expression, what this means is He'll make it rain. But what is that? What else does it mean? Some ulama comment on the word as-sama. Sama means whatever's above you. You know, all of your rizq, all of your provision, your salary, your promotion, your bonus, your savings, all of it, your health, you know how long you will live, how long your children will live, how long your wife or your husband will live, all of it comes from the sky. All of it comes from the sky. But sometimes Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us in the Quran, وَاللَّهُ يَقْبِضُ وَيَبْسُطُ. Sometimes He holds back and sometimes He lets go. Sometimes He makes it rain, sometimes He doesn't make it rain. Sometimes He makes life good for you. You got a promotion coming, you got money coming in, you got, this investment worked out, that investment worked out. Things are looking great. The value of your house went up, everything's looking good. And then sometimes He holds back a little bit. And what happens? The job disappears, the savings disappear, the price of the home drops, you start falling into debt, things start falling apart out of nowhere. You look back and you say, how did this happen? Everything was so good just a few days ago, a few months ago. I was a completely different life and now it's a different life. How did that happen? Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us in this ayah, if you and I become people of real istighfar, then the doors of rizq from the sky will stay open. You're having financial trouble? Make a lot of istighfar. Hasan al-Basri, he was a great scholar. People used to come to him and ask all kinds of questions. So somebody came to him and asked, I can't have any children, what should I do? He said, make istighfar. Somebody else came and said, I'm coming from a village, we haven't had rain forever. What should I do? He said, make istighfar. Somebody else came and said, I can't find work. I haven't made money in so long. I'm living in debt. What should I do? Guess what? He said, make istighfar. So there was a guy sitting in the masjid. He goes, some sheikh. This guy, only answer he's got is make istighfar. He doesn't know any other answer. Everybody comes, he says, guess what? Next guy comes, he's probably going to say, make istighfar to him too. And he recited the ayat to him. It's not me. Allah said it. You make istighfar and Allah will open the doors of the sky. He says, يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ. He will send the sky upon you. He will deliver it directly to you. When you think of the rain, you think of the raindrops falling everywhere. And He says, I will make special rizq for you. It will fall especially upon you because you made istighfar. Because you asked for forgiveness. Because you wanted forgiveness. It'll come for you. And then He adds the word midraran. Dur in Arabic it's used for when you milk a cow. When you milk an animal, dur. Okay? The Rasul ﷺ, for example, in a hadith, he forbade the durra should be slaughtered. Durra is the animal that's giving milk to its children. The animal that gives milk to the children, it should not be slaughtered because the children depend on it. It's a merciless thing to do. Right? So that's the word durra. Dur is from milk. Literally Allah describes the sky like a cow that you can milk, the rizq of the sky, the health, the wealth, the barakah in your business. All of it is just waiting for you. You can milk it if you want. You can tap into it if you want. If you just ask Allah for forgiveness, it'll come. And He didn't even say durran or darran. He said midraran. This is actually a special form of the word. It's called ism ala. The sky will become a tool for you to use. Mif'al is ism ala. It will become something you can use as a tool. Every time you have a problem, just turn to Allah and make istighfar and Allah will give and give and give because Allah will make the sky at your service. The sky will be like a tap that you open, like the sink, the faucet in the sink. It'll be like that. All of the treasures of Allah, of the rizq, will open for you. Subhanallah. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. And He explains further. What does it mean that the sky will open up for you? He will extend your means. He will give you more and more when it comes to monies. All kinds of money, not even one kind of money. Not bimalin, amwalin. You won't make money from one direction, you'll start making money from every direction. You know, these people in Nuh's time, alayhi salam, these people, all they wanted was dunya, right? They didn't care about akhirah. They only wanted this world. They had no concern for the next world. And Nuh alayhi salam saying, you're not gonna have dunya. If you don't make istighfar, if you can just make istighfar, you will have amazing amounts of dunya. You'll have lots and all kinds of money. You'll get rich just because you turn to Allah sincerely. وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. And He also adds sons. He'll extend your means by having children. Now the thing is, He didn't say, يُؤْتِيكُمْ أَمْوَالًا وَبَنِينَ. He said, يُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. You know what that means? That يُمْدِدْكُمْ bi, using your monies and using your children, He will extend your joy. He will make your life happier. Because for a lot of people, just because they have money doesn't mean they're happy. Their money becomes a stress for them. They get high blood pressure during tax season. A lot of people have children, and some of their children have very good education. But once they got their education and their career, they don't even call. They disappear. They have their own life. They have no time for their parents. Those children did not become a source of joy for their parents. They became a source of sadness. Their name comes up and the mother wants to cry. The name comes up and the father gets angry, his son's name comes up. Because he remembers the fights he used to have with his son. You know? He says, not like that. You make istighfar to Allah, He will give you money that will actually give you happiness. And He will give you children that will actually give you happiness. They will extend your life. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ. And He won't give you one garden, He'll give you lots of gardens. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا. And He'll extend all kinds of rivers for you. He'll open the doors, the treasures of this world for you, if you can just become people of istighfar. That's the khutbah of Nuh alayhi salam to the people. They still didn't listen. They still, so few listened. They, you know, and privately they would listen, and publicly they'd forget it again. And you know what? Sometimes we're not very different. In a khutbah, people sit and listen, and they say, yeah, I should make istighfar. Yeah, but the movie starts at 4. You know, you walk out of here, you become a different person again. Go back to life as usual again. You go back to the office and start hitting on the secretary again. You know, oh, no Muslims are here, it's okay. It's okay. You go back to your normal life. Who I mean, it's a good khutbah, but it's good, like, you got close to Allah for like 20 minutes. It's good enough. I've given Allah enough. Maybe we'll make it 40 minutes because it's barakah of Ramadan or something. But other than that, you know, life as usual. These talks, these reminders, these khutbahs, they are simply a means. They're simply a means. They will not change you. You have to turn to Allah if you want to change. You have to turn to Allah and say, Ya Allah, not only am I asking for forgiveness, I want your forgiveness. I'm truly sorry for the way I've been. I shouldn't have been this way. And I know I can be better. And I know just because I've been this way yesterday, I won't be this way tomorrow. My yesterday does not guarantee my tomorrow. I can be a different person from now. I want to turn back to you, Ya Rab, now. I want the doors of your rizq to open to me now. And I will try to earn your forgiveness. I will try to earn your forgiveness. I will wake up for prayers. I will stop talking bad about other people. I'll stop the lying. I'll stop the cheating. I'll start being honest. I'll stop being shameless. I'll stop exposing myself to filthy things. I'll delete all those dirty things off my phone. I'll get rid of them. I'll clean out my computer and never go back to that stuff again. You have to have that conversation with Allah. You have to change that. Then Allah will open those doors. Then with the students sitting here, when the sky opens, man, your studies will become so easy. Dude, you're like studying until 3 a.m. for the midterm, then you'll be going to sleep at 9 p.m. calm because you are totally ready for the test. Allah put barakah in your time. Those of you that have contracts and the deadlines are around the corner and you can't seem to finish your work, you'll be done well in advance because Allah will put barakah in your time. Allah will help you in your worldly matters. You won't get stuck in traffic like everybody else. You won't be late to work anymore. Things will start looking good. Things will start looking brighter and brighter in everything that you do, at your work, in your studies, in your family life, in your health. This is يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. This is what that means. You and I just have to become conscious of our mistakes and be sincere and genuine to Allah. I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal makes us people of istighfar this beautiful month of Ramadan. You know that this is the month of maghfirah. This is the month of forgiveness, which means this is the month for us to truly and genuinely ask for forgiveness. I would urge all of you to, if you can't do the entire surah, at least recite and try to memorize these few ayat of Surah Nuh. It's a short surah altogether anyway. But recite these ayat, and when you make salah, recite these ayat in your prayer. It'll bring you closer to Allah. It'll remind you. It'll remind you of what this message was said thousands of years ago in the secret of somebody's home. But Allah sees that this small speech was so powerful that thousands of years later it should be put in the Quran, so millions and millions and millions of people should learn from that small reminder that was given in those closed doors. Subhanallah. That's what this gift is. We thank Allah Azza wa Jal for the gift of His beautiful book, and we pray that we're able to take the lessons from it and implement them in our lives. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim, wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayati wa dhikr al-Hakim. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa wa salatu wa salam ala ibadihi alladhina istafa, khususan ala afdalihim wa khatamin nabiyyin Muhammadin al-Amin وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد نقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي